for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Well, good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke Radio. That's right. For the masses. Today's Tuesday, April 10th, 2018. 100 days into the new year, just 265 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in beautiful downtown Burbank. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planets. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? Tonight, he's back. Very special guest, Anthony F. Sanchez. That's right. We're here to talk about worldwide UFO sightings, numbers in different countries all around the world, what they are seeing. So we're going to do that. Of course, the United States goes into that mix, and we're going to talk about what Anthony intends on doing about it and getting those numbers out to the world. So that's our conversation tonight with Anthony F. Sanchez, author of course, of UFO Highway. Tomorrow night, Daniel P. Sheehan joins us, and with the climate of the world right now, and I was talking about this last night, and which is all of the headlines right now, all of the headlines, they're like cabal Illuminati headlines. Think about it. It's weird. It's bizarre. So there you go. Thursday night, Fader night. John Rappaport's going to be here with his No More Fake Newsroom Live, and followed by open lines all night long. You can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. There you go, at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Come and hang out with us there. And that's on Twitter, of course. And hashtag F2BQ is Fade to Black Questions. So you can post your questions and comments right there, and I'll catch those during the show. For those that are watching right now on the Bunker Cam, hello, welcome. Hello to everybody in the chat rooms. Fade to Black Questions, and people are watching me right now on our video stream, right? And so they can, I know what they do. So they're watching the show, and they're watching me, and they'll watch me go over to Fade to Black Q. They're watching the feed. They'll see a question pop up. They'll watch me read it and then ask the guest. And sometimes, I would say, most of the time, I act like it's my own question. Now, and that's the art of it, right? And then you guys, thanks for asking the question. I'll see that pop up in Twitter, but you'll see me do it. Well, if you want to check all of that out, go to our membership section and get a subscription, become a member, become a Fadernaut. You get the live Bunker Cam feed. You get a private email to me. I just got a string of private emails in here right before the show. This one from Steph. She says, "Hey, Jimmy, have you checked out Counterpart yet on Stars? J.K. Simmons plays a character, his character's counterpart from a parallel universe. The premise is that a secret Nazi experiment went wrong, caused the world to duplicate itself. J.K. Simmons meets and interacts with his other. It's very binge-worthy. Tonight is a rare night where I'm going to listen to Fade to Black live. Yay, have a good show. Well, Steph just heard me read that email. And you get a private email to me, and it says JCR, fade or not, right there in the email. So I know it's the private email, and I reply back to him, or, I'll read him on the air. But, and in response to Counterpart, we have watched all of it. Counterpart is pretty dang amazing. It's really good script writing. And J.K. Simmons, who, going all the way back to Oz, forget the Farmers commercials, right? But you go back to Oz, and you realize what a great actor he is. And to play yourself, right, two different personalities in the same show for and serious stuff too. It's not comedy. Is a talent, and J.K. just shines in Counterpart. So I do highly recommend Counterpart on Stars. All right, now the breaking news section that I normally do some breaking news here. There's so much breaking news today, but I'm not going to do that. What I did want to comment on was last night we had John Greenwald on the show, and we started to talk about his report on TTSA. And we started to talk about the warehouse out in Las Vegas, right, with this alleged, alien debris and artifacts and so forth. They said it was alloys and meta-alloys, and now it's plastic. I don't know. I don't know what's... But this is... I'm going to clear the air here. I just want everybody to get hip to how my brain works, all right? There is no alien ET tech or debris in a warehouse owned by Bigelow Aerospace Systems, or anybody else that's out there. They may have a warehouse with stuff in it, but it ain't alien ET tech. All right? It's just not. Now, let me tell you why. This is why. First off, you can't believe what anybody says. You can't. You have to play the role of skeptic, and especially when it comes to the subject. But this is the deal. TTSA, the New York Times, and every other media outlet announced the presence of a warehouse in Vegas that has got ET stuff in it, right? Debris. And at that point, the cat is completely out of the bag. Completely out of the bag. That's it. It's not a secret warehouse in Vegas anymore. So, at that point, and especially when you're selling stock in your company, at that point, let me tell you what you do. If you have ET alien tech, you know what you do? You hit a home run. You have a press conference, you have a nice table, you have a few people sitting there, some scientists, and you have big piles of debris. And you go, this is what we got. This came from this alien craft. This came from this one. This came from this crash site. This came from Roswell. This came from here. This came from there. And we're studying all of this, and we're going to bring all of this into the civilian sector. We're going to figure this out. We're going to make planes, trains, automobiles, clothes, houses, free energy with this stuff here, and you can check it out. And then the stock goes through the roof. You are now the most courageous, coolest, most popular, bestest, intelligent, important people in the world. But that didn't happen, did it? That's because they ain't got nothing. That's it. That's it. There's no alien ET tech warehouse in Las Vegas with stuff in it. It's all stuff from here. They may have stuff from a crashed Chinese stealth fighter, maybe something from a Scud missile fired in Iraq, maybe stuff from a Russian cruise missile, foreign technology, stuff that was different alloys and metals and plastics and stealth material and coatings from around the world. And they send it there and they study it. They whatever that yes, alien ET tech in a warehouse in Las Vegas. They ain't got it. They ain't got it. Bigelow would Bigelow, of all people, would step forward and go, yeah, man, I got it, man. Here it is. It's out of the bag. It's been announced. It's not secret anymore. It's simply not secret. So now that everybody knows, bring it forward and let's go. You can't because it doesn't exist. All right. So that's it. And I'm very comfortable with that position. If they got it and they're listening and they really care about the community and the world and the betterment and world peace and all of that stuff, then bring it forward. Don't wait. I'm tired of the rhetoric and the runaround and again, these circular arguments and these things, and we can't say anything because, and if we do say something, then there's people here, these names, and we can't jeopardize. We can't do that. We can't do it now. We can do. We got to. You stop. Just stop. Stop. It's exhausting. But I'm glad, though, that everybody's talking about the UFO subject all around the world. Okay. All right. So do you guys have any questions? Is there anything that I didn't quite make clear? Because if you need me to expand on that. Now, but that's not saying, and see, now the exact opposite is what is true. That's not saying that there isn't alien tech in a government warehouse, under the wraps of the DOD and being studied, that there isn't something at Sandia. Oh, I wouldn't doubt that. Something at Area 51. I don't, Doug Way, Wright Pat. Of course. There's been alien ET stuff flying around this planet every single day. Has it crashed? We crash everything into Mars. We haven't. We've landed like 2 things on Mars that didn't end up upside down or blow up. And, maybe 3 or 4. But everything we have launched at Mars or Venus or whatever, half the stuff we've launched to the moon, crashed. Everything just goes, because we can't figure it out. We don't know the physics of these atmospheres, and we barely figured out how to get back through our own atmosphere, and we haven't even figured that part out yet. We still have plane crashes, shuttles, a couple of shuttle crashes, and mishaps in space, and things happen. We haven't figured that out. All right, so ET getting here, they don't understand our atmosphere. They get through here, crashes. Of course, I get that. I fully understand it. So that stuff, you think a crashed alien probe that is sent here to check us out is in Bigelow's warehouse? Yeah, no, it's not. All right, okay. Don't forget to officially register for OnStellar. And after Zuckerberg today, I can't think of a better reason to go get on a new social media platform. We're going to start testing for OnStellar in a couple of weeks, so get ready for that. And you can get in on the alpha and beta testing right now. Officially register over at OnStellar, OnStellar.com. Get your username now. Use promo code Jimmy, OnStellar.com. All right? And that's our platform. It's us. It's us, a decentralized, community-focused social media platform. Done for you. Think about that. Go and register today at OnStellar.com. All right. Don't forget, our next event is coming up in just 6 short weeks, June 1st through the 4th, 2018. Contact in the Desert, Indian Wells, Palm Springs, at the Renaissance Resort and Spa. Did you guys see the trailer? The trailer went up and around earlier today. See, thousands of tweets here. Thousands. Okay, here it is. Can I retweet this? Is it possible for me to retweet? I don't know if it'll allow me to retweet. Let's see if it will. Okay, I'll just do hashtag F2B really quick. Because, let's see. Will it let me do it? Because I tweeted it. There it is. Okay, watch that trailer. Because the dude's voice, the narrator here, right? The voiceover guy, he's got pipes. You got to check that dude out. That's a really cool trailer. Okay, it's up there for everybody. I just got it. And so just go ahead and retweet that and get that out. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool trailer. And that is June 1st through the 4th. And we've got a full weekend of events there. Go and check it out. Check out the trailer and go and get your tickets and info. And then right after that, our Soul Tech Gathering, SoulTechGathering.com, will be at ESETI Ranch this August 9th through the 12th. Where we are going to teach, we're going to have fun, we're going to make friends. All 300 Fadernauts are going to get together. We're going to skywatch. We're going to have music, great food, hanging out. We're going to have tents and RVs and fun and camping. It's going to be amazing. All right, for 4 straight days, SoulTechGathering.com. Only 300 tickets will be sold. Go and get your tickets and info today at SoulTechGathering.com. All right. Oh, where am I at? Happy birthday to today. Haley Joel Osment is 30. I see dead people. But he was really good in the new X-Files. Yeah, he's really good, actually, in the new X-Files. Our dead guy's birthday today, Omar Sharif, 1932 to 2015, died at the age of 83. Lawrence of Arabia and Dr. Zhivago. Seriously, that is all. Happy birthday, Omar Sharif. On this day in history, OTD, 1971. The U.S. table tennis team visits communist China. Yeah. They spent 1 week there and were beaten 21-0 in every match played, I think. I can't remember. But it was really bad, whatever happened. 1 week, ping pong diplomacy. There you go. Fader fact. Leonardo da Vinci's last words were, wait for it, quote, I have offended God and mankind. My work did not reach the quality it should have, end quote. And he fell out. That's a Fader fact. Tonight, Anthony F. Sanchez is here. We're going to talk about worldwide UFO sightings. Tomorrow night, Daniel P. Sheehan joins us. Thursday night, Fader night, open lines all night long with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live, followed by, well, I just said it, open lines all night long. Now, today, I got to hit this coffee, man. Zuckerberg. Did you watch the testimony today? I did. I watched all of Zucks today before Congress. It was interesting on so many levels. And so I just made notes, and these aren't in any chronological order. But, I made notes, and I compiled things, and then I kind of had my thoughts afterwards, and certainly talked to Rita. Rita refused, right? She is so upset with Zuckerberg and Facebook. So she tapped out on that. But I didn't. I watched all of it. And these are my thoughts. Okay? Dan Hicks and the Hot Licks. How do you know Dan Hicks, Mark? How do you know Danny Hicks? He's a friend of mine. No, you don't know Danny Hicks, do you? Okay, all right, let me get back to Zuckerberg. I'm going to star that. I want to see that again later. Daniel Hicks. But these are my thoughts, and I'm going to run down through these again, and not in any particular order of importance. But overall, Zucks really tried to come off as innocent. And all of his responses, whether he was admitting to something or not, all of his responses were that Facebook is perfect. And you got hours of that today, and it was exhausting. Facebook is perfect, that they do nothing wrong ever. They have our best intentions in mind always. There's nothing evil about them. They don't have any meetings about any darkness. They don't do anything bad, and everything is for the good of the world and the betterment of mankind and the children, and over again. All right. Now, he said, and that was the overall feeling. And Rita said to me, she goes, well, how did it end? I said, how did it end? It was the biggest butt-kissing thing. You had 2 or 3 senators that got a little, or Congress, from members of Congress that were aggressive with him. The rest, it was a big butt-kissing fest. And I get that because he's a rock star. And I totally get that. But they were so starstruck that they just couldn't. But it ended with Zuckerberg getting up and shaking hands with everybody. And it was like, autographs, selfies, and I was like, well, all right. So that's how it ended. So if it ended like that, it was just a softball game. Zucks said so many times today, over and over again, that they do not sell user data all day. I don't know how many times he said it, but it was a lot. The user agreement was brought up a few times today, and one senator, it was Kennedy, said that it sucks. I couldn't believe it. It was brilliant. And I stopped and I thought about that user agreement, and I joined Facebook back in 08 or 09, right after it started. And I'm bound by that user agreement, right? And I get that because I clicked on it and started my profile and whatever. But am I bound by that user agreement that I agreed to in 08 or 09? Am I bound by the same one that they have today? And I'm sure that there is something in that user agreement that says if you agree back then that if we modify this agreement, you automatically agree to anything in the future, right? Because I haven't agreed to a user agreement lately, 10 years. So I'm wondering about that. Zuck said today that Facebook, are cooperating with Mueller. And I thought that was interesting. Zuck said today that they have never been hacked. That's right. And I thought, wow. And then he said, well, that's not completely true. We did have some malware on a few computers around the office, but other than that, nope, never been hacked. Zuck said today and stressed many, many times that everyone has complete control over everything. I'm talking about end users. And we know that that is not the case, but it was over and over again. Anytime, yeah, right, we're working on that. We're working on that. Yeah. And, but every time a senator asked him a challenging question, it was like, no, it's not true, man. The end users can do whatever they want. They can opt out. They can click. They can do this. They can take control of their data. They don't have to have data. They do this and that. No, they have no. No, you can do whatever you want. And it's just misleading. But the senators didn't challenge anything. Or I keep saying senators. The Congress people never challenged anything. Zuck said that there was a movement to drop Facebook, but that has gone away and that nobody is leaving Facebook in great numbers. And I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah. He said this conspiracy question popped up and that we've talked about on this show, right? And he answered the conspiracy question about when somebody is talking on their phone about something, and then later on that day, it magically appears in their timeline advertising, right? And the senator said, I've had it happen to me, right? I've been talking, and I go back, and I see, and I know I've never talked or commented or posted anything, but then, boom, it's in my timeline. And I've had members of my staff tell me the same thing. So I'm asking you, does Facebook listen to phone calls? Nope. That's it. There was no challenge to anything. So, yeah, Scott just says that's a lie. Half of my friends have deleted their account. Nobody today asked Zucks why he didn't come forward in 2015 about the data breach. And I found that interesting. Like, that was a question that was off limits. You know, I'll answer anything, but these are you can't ask these questions. No, that's not supposed to happen, right? It's Congress. But I find that really strange because that's the one question. If you knew about it then, and you say that you did stuff about it back in 2014 and 2015, which he said today like 10 times, then why didn't you announce this? Why did we find out about it now once these undercover cameras happened over in the UK? All right? Now, there were a few members of Congress who seemed pissed and wanted answers. But most I said this earlier, I think most were starstruck. And I get that. You know, the great Zuckerberg was sitting there in front of them. He's right there. And he fully took advantage of that with basically looking like he was feeling sorry for himself and over again, you know, Facebook loves you. Facebook loves all of you and all of the world, and all we do is our best every single day. That's all we do. We try to be the best people that we can be to make the world a better place. And it worked. I mean, it really, really worked. At the end of this, and there were moments of darkness, right? There were moments of darkness where they were talking about, laws and cementing companies and tying hands and how they left Facebook run unregulated and they let it go, and now they've breached everybody's trust. And there were those moments, but it just went away. Zucks really pulls that off. And it worked. It worked on Congress. He got up and shook everybody's hands. Selfies. Man, Zuck, man, taking selfies. I was in shock. I was in shock. Every time that I heard the dorm room story about how Facebook started, I threw up in my mouth a little bit. And I was, now, it's a great story. It's a great tale. I like hearing it. But he kept driving it home. And when you hear somebody from Congress come up and go, hey, man, tell me that dorm room story again. That was excellent. It's like he got him. It allowed Zucks to deflect. It worked. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm going to go back and watch it all again. It's hours and hours worth of stuff, but it is compelling. But the best part of all of it was the dude sitting behind Zucks, his number two guy, his assistant, with the mullet. Did you guys see that? I was posting the pictures today, and I do want to thank, was it Deuce Guy that made me notice it? And then I'm watching hours of this testimony, and I can't take my eyes off of the dude that was to the left there. And the mullet was caused from the lady sitting behind him. But the mullet. That was the best part. That was the best part of today. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Quick commercial break. Our guest tonight, Anthony F. Sanchez. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Let's see. I think Anthony is UFO Highway, I think, on Twitter. We'll get it up there. We're going to talk about worldwide UFO numbers and sightings. We've got a long list of countries that we are going to go through. And then, of course, what to do with all of this data. It's Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. I'll be right back with our guest, Anthony F. Sanchez. Stay with me.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe.
Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Natural Health Solutions with Chris and Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
Great, Chris.
Now, you're the CEO of GetTheTea.com, right?
Yes, I am.
What is GetTheTea.com? I mean, is this tea you buy in a store?
Well, no, it's not. Life Change Tea is just that. Life-changing. Life Change Tea is an herbal tea that gently cleanses your body from intruders.
What do you mean by intruders?
Well, intruders are toxins, chemicals, GMOs, heavy metals, and more. They're in our food, in our water, in our air we breathe.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
And Life Change Tea will help you with removing these, as you say, intruders?
That's right, Chris.
Are there side effects with this tea?
Well, you might lose a little weight. When you clean your colon, you lose weight, you feel better, and you have more energy.
Wow. Ronnie, where can people purchase Life Change Tea?
Oh, that's easy. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
Ronnie, I want to thank you for being on the show. People, don't forget, GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, let's do this. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Oh, yeah. Tonight, Anthony F. Sanchez is here. Can't wait. I just can't wait. I love it when Anthony is on the show. Tomorrow night, Daniel P. Sheehan is here. And, again, always a great conversation when he joins us, so you don't want to miss that. Thursday night, Fader Night, John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live, followed by Open Lines all night long. But tonight, it's about Anthony F. Sanchez. He's the author of UFO Highway, founder of Umbra Research, a group dedicated to the understanding of hidden aspects and mystery behind the UFO alien phenomena, conspiracies, paranormal science. He and his team of investigators have visited Area 51, Dulce, China Lake, and have visited many crash retrieval sites, and most recently up in Yosemite, California, where he filmed for the Travel Channel's Season 2 of Mysteries at the National Parks. He currently works to bring public awareness of underground facilities, alien-human hybrids, grays, UFOs. For his day job, he writes code. That's right. He's a coder. He's one of them up there in Silicon Valley. But he also has GHOSTHUNTERAPPS. And he writes some really good broadcasting software, too. He's absolutely brilliant. He received a senior-level technologist and veteran of Silicon Valley, having received his BSc in Computer Information Systems from Western Governors University in Salt Lake City. He has worked for Intel, 3Com, HP, NEC, and he still develops software for the state of California through his own consulting firm, which means He is one of them. Tonight, we're going to discuss UFO sightings all around the world, the data that he has collected, and how he intends on getting this information out to the masses. I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, the one and only Anthony freaking Sanchez. Anthony, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Jimmy. Thank you for having me back. It's always an honor to be on Fade to Black.
You're one of them, though. You're one of them. You're one of. Yeah, I want everybody to know. Anthony and I earlier this week, we were talking about coding in the old days of computers. Yeah, Fortran and COBOL and BASIC. Yep. And we talked software for quite a long time. I hung up the phone and I said to myself, "He's one of them. He's one of them. He even lives there." So.
I was born there, man. I was actually born in San Jose, California.
Yeah.
And grew up, it's like every time I watch that show on HBO called Silicon Valley, I'm looking at a map of my hometown every time they start the show.
Totally. Do you ever drive by like Wozniak's house where he grew up, or Jobs, the famous garage?
I used to do that when I was younger. I had some buddies of mine. We used to get together. We used to troll neighborhoods where we knew that some of the famous startups had begun, and like HP, of course, in their garage,
right. All of it.
What's really cool though is I actually, in 1995, I left Acer America Corporation, which was my first gig as a software developer, and I ended up getting hired by 3Com Corporation. I didn't go looking for the job. They found me at Acer because I was part of a project on the first product release for a company at the time which nobody heard of called Netscape. We got written up about it in the technical journal, and I get a call from 3Com Corporation, and they said, "Would you like to be our webmaster?" And I was like, "What's a webmaster?" And this is in 1995.
Wow.
And yeah, I ended up becoming the first corporate webmaster of 3Com Corporation. So I was webmaster grade H, whatever the hell that meant. And I ended up working in the marketing division and doing a lot of technical stuff. I became acquainted with Eric Benemu, the CEO and the founder of 3Com. I ended up having several private meetings with the guy and doing some stuff for him, which was kind of cool.
I remember, and I want to move on to Zuckerberg really quick. We got to talk about that. But
right.
I remember in like 1998, I could be off by a year. I don't think it pushed into 99. And I don't think I'm feeling 1998. I'm working for Alesis, one of the big,
right.
Powerful digital audio companies out there that was on the forefront of the entire digital revolution. And I'm there through the beginning and the middle and the end of the company. And it was amazing times, right? And we had it all, man. We had coders and things and engineers and dreamers, and just it was a fun company to work with, right? And work for. We had an amazing time. But I remember 1998. One of the marketing guys comes in and goes, "Hey, man, should we start a website?" And I'm thinking, really? And there was some bogus website that we had up for a year or something, but it was like, we should build a website.
Right.
And so like you're saying, you would think that in 1995, a company of that size would have that dialed, right?
Oh, yeah.
But no, that wasn't the case. And we're only talking 20 years ago. The world has come a long ways in 20 years.
Well, dude, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that was 20 years ago.
I know.
Please.
I know. And then we have Zuckerberg today up there in front of Congress, and we need to really remember what's actually the truth here. Facebook is 10 years old.
Right.
Not 30, not 40, not 50, 10 years old. A blink of an eye.
I guarantee you, Jimmy, that there have been data breaches at Facebook, and they're not telling us about it. I can guarantee it. When you have major, banking institutions, retail institutions, Sony Pictures,
the NSA,
companies on that scale, you cannot tell me that Facebook has not had a data breach, even a minor data breach.
Right. And he said no.
Right.
He said no. And then when he thought about, well, I think we had 3 computers that, got malware. Oh, my. But, and so what does that tell you when Congress, so you have Zuckerberg there, probably the most famous person in the world, probably more famous than the frigging Pope. And now he's sitting in front of Congress, and they didn't know what to do with themselves. He sits down, and it's like, he sits down, and they're like, you want to take a break? What? Right. You want to take a break? If you need to get up and go pee-pee, let us know. Do you need a drink? Somebody get Zucks an orange whip, please?
Right. I think it was his youthful exuberance. I think they still, even although he was wearing a suit, I think in their minds he was wearing his hoodie or his famous T-shirt that he always wears with the jeans and the sneakers, and you can't lose sight of the fact that he's one of the richest people in the world. And what is he worth now?
50
his
billion.
Net worth has got to be in the billions.
Yeah, it's 50 billion.
Yeah.
It was last week, it was 64 billion, but, stock dropped. So he's, 50 billion. But, I found it amazing how Congress, and I know they want him to feel comfortable and everything, and he's come in and he sat down and he's answering their questions. But the butt kissing, the brown nosing that was going on, I was like, am I the only one noticing this?
I noticed it too. I saw a little bit of it on YouTube when I was programming earlier today. I was like, I always have the browser up on my right monitor, and I get to watch the news or listen to classical music or whatever. And today I was trying to pay attention to what was happening. And I'm telling you, they were starstruck, number one. 2, they're politicians. And politicians like what? Money. And what does Zuckerberg have? Lots of money.
Right.
And lots of star power. And, if they have a foundation, if they have a political action committee, if they have, some channel for money, if they were good to him today and tomorrow, because I think he's going back tomorrow, I think, that's what they're trying to do. Is they're trying to buy their way into his coffers. So
yeah, one of the Congress members said, and I about fell out. Said, you're appearing here today, and all of the lobby money is in all of the lobby money in Washington is yours. Right. and said that to him because you're here today. Now everybody's here influencing Washington today. And I thought, man, that's a heck of a thing to say. But they recognize that, right. And nobody really, there was a couple of questions here and there that were strong, right? But he absolutely danced on every front. And I was just shocked about that. And nobody wanted a follow-up question. Nobody really, it was nothing but softball after softball after softball. Mm-hmm. And it was, for me, it was like, why was he even there?
Right.
Right. So what do you think about this data breach? You mentioned Netscape. You mentioned 3Com. And others, even the mighty Intel, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. I worked at Intel for from 2000 to 2001, and then from 2004 to 2008.
Now, even Intel has been challenged. They're not the only chip maker in the world. In fact, there's better chip makers now than Intel. So that being said, is Facebook too big to fail?
That's interesting that you would put it in that perspective because from the perspective of the government, they might be. Think about it this way. When we had the housing crisis back in 2008 and all of the loans, those loans, those negative loans that were given out to people who couldn't afford them, and the banks knowingly gave out those loans, it affected our entire economy. And the banks were in deep trouble, and with the government bailing them out, the mindset was, well, they're too big to fail. So a couple of groups took hits. Like what was it? It was Countrywide and several others. But the big banks, the big banks behind many of the loans, they were considered too big to fail. I think they should have been allowed to fail. And I think that would have been the sort of market correction that the country could have benefited from, as opposed to, because the people who lost their homes, they didn't get rescued. Nobody bailed them out. Their credits were permanently damaged. Their credit histories are now tied back to one of the biggest financial crises that ever hit our country. But the banks got away scot-free. So it's kind of hard, to look back on history and then, observe what happened today with Zuckerberg, how he was being treated with these, with these niceties. And it's just kind of sad that Zuckerberg is a part of an organization that on the surface, I think it's something like 3.6 billion people use Facebook. And with this Cambridge Analytica fiasco, 86 million Americans, that's roughly 1/3 of our country, were affected. And you have these trolls coming out of Russia that were allowed to play us against one another. Talk about dividing the people. That's exactly what happened. And it didn't just happen on Facebook. It also happened on Twitter and Instagram, especially Twitter. And, Twitter was failed. People seem to forget that Twitter was failing. Twitter has never been profitable, and they were on the verge of going away. But what saved them was the Trump administration, because Trump is such a big user, and being the president, he has such a global presence. Twitter can't go away. Twitter, we can't afford to have, or the powers that be cannot afford to have Twitter go away, despite them still not being profitable, because it is now a channel, a communication outlet for the president, who tweets every single day.
The UFO subject, which is very easy for me to always segue into, but the UFO subject is also, and conspiracies, is a big part of freedom of speech on the internet, not only through platforms like this, which is a live radio show, but our Twitter presence, our Facebook presence, and what we do out there, and everybody else that is part of our community. It's part of our freedom of speech, right? And so when we are talking about data breaches and conspiracies and trolling and troll farms and fake news, all of this plays into what this community has been talking about for a very long time. We don't want to be controlled or censored on the internet, but yet we have these other things that have come into play, and just maybe there has to be some kind of legislation brought in, because leaving Facebook to run on their own obviously didn't work, right? And other social media platforms, because we didn't want censorship on the internet.
Well, look what's about to happen with the defense establishment, and currently the way it is, in government circles like Congress and the Senate. They are having an adverse effect on fringe research areas like the paranormal, ufology, and the whole UFO alien phenomena. What is YouTube about to do? YouTube has already commenced censoring and shutting down channels that are conspiracy based, like Alex Jones. How many times have they threatened to shut down Alex Jones? Yeah, Alex goes out on a limb and he puts it out there sometimes, pressing the limit as far as he can go, but for the most part, a lot of the conspiracies that are discussed are now being targeted. And I think that, unfortunately for the UFO community, you're going to see a lot of, and the UFO / alien phenomena, as a whole. I think you're going to see a lot of those videos begin to disappear. Don't be surprised if websites at YouTube, like channels like Secure Team 10, would constantly pumping out any type of video or piece of information about UFOs. Sometimes you can tell it's a hoax. Sometimes some of the stuff looks quite legitimate. They're going to be shut down because they fall under the umbrella of conspiratorial content. So I don't know. What really bothers me is that we recently found out that the Defense Department, whose budget is what, $550 billion to $600 billion annually, typically since 2014, just a little tiny slice of it, $22 million, was spent on the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. And there was a lot of finagling going into the creation of that. You had Bigelow out of Nevada, and you had, who was it? It was Harry Reid, also out of Nevada, who was, who's in the pocket of Bigelow, put this thing together. They threw the word threat in there, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, so that they could militarize it. But, and by the way, I'm not against the fact that they had that program. I actually was for it, because I think the government needs to get serious about the topics or the subject matter of ufology, because I believe UFOs are real. I believe that the government has reverse engineered alien technology. They have created advanced spacecraft and, terrestrial aircraft that are utilizing technologies that are not, from our own creation, of our own creation. I've talked extensively about the Dulce base in New Mexico. I've done a lot of research into it, and I have exposed how certain companies have worked under this governmental umbrella called the Technology Commercialization Office out of Los Alamos, selling, technology that wasn't supposed to exist in its current state for like another 30 to 50 years, but that's currently selling it. Of course, they're not selling it to Americans, but they're selling it to, offshore foreign, drilling and mining companies, foreign militaries. It's kind of crazy what's coming out of New Mexico. But again, the Defense Department, the entire defense establishment, Congress, I think everybody's working to shut down the disclosure that is happening through these fringe discussion outlets, these fringe news outlets like Fade to Black, like Coast to Coast. A lot of people have podcasts out there that were discussing these things, and people are being targeted. They're being targeted.
Yeah, and the other part of it, which we need to be very, very careful here, is if there is going to be some regulations introduced through Congress, which need to be done, but who becomes the internet police? There is a current bill in the state of California. I don't have the bill number in front of me, but it's crazy, and it's literally the internet police, right? Fake news websites, texting, and I'm talking about laws. Okay, so you will be breaking the law. You will be flagged. Your information will be tagged fake news. And who is going to do that? Now, are we talking about censorship? And when it comes to something like Fade to Black, I don't do news on our website. I don't create news, right? I don't write. I've written a few pieces here and there about things that I've done, but I haven't, we don't create custom news. So our site, the website part of it, could be free of that. But they are talking about podcasts in this bill. They're talking about internet radio on this bill. They're talking about YouTube videos in this bill. And that scares me, and is it end users that are doing this? Who's going to do the flagging? What if trolls are doing the flagging?
What if they begin to hire trolls? What if they think about this? Who trolls us every day, if not the NSA across our country, right? You have to consider that there are already countries across Europe that have created laws that ban fake news, and they ban certain areas of discussion on the internet. They shut down websites. Look at China. You have the Great Firewall of China.
China. Look at Russia. There is nothing goes on the internet without government regulation in Russia. China has their own Facebook. They have their own Google. And that is the end of that story right there.
Right. Baidu.com. I am not a big fan of Donald Trump. And, a lot of people know that. I was a Bernie guy. But my point is this. One of the things that Donald Trump did, and I don't want to get political, but what he did, which was absolutely right, was to start this so-called trade war with China by introducing tariffs on steel and aluminum. And he's talking about doing another 100 products that I don't remember the exact amount it's going to affect in tariffs on China. I think it's 100 billion. But if you read any of the books by Peter Navarro, who actually works at the White House, who up until now was pretty much ignored, but now that the Trump's administration is kind of thinning out, Peter Navarro's message is coming to the forefront. And what Peter Navarro talks about is how we have a lopsided agreement with China with regards to importing and exporting. We cannot take our companies into China and establish ourselves there, especially technical companies that operate in the technology sector, without giving up our proprietary intellectual information. Meaning, if I'm developing flat screen TVs, right, and I have this amazing technology that I developed, patented, and put together here in the United States, if I want to go to China because they have the manufacturing sector, which we have lost over the last 20 years. Remember, Jimmy, just 20 years ago, you were talking about 1998, 1999, we still had manufacturing in the United States at that point. Yeah, we have none.
None. So we do not make one television in the United States.
Right. We can make nuclear bombs and we can make, the stealth bomber. But guess what? We don't know how to make shoes in this country.
Right. Well, we don't have. The thing is, to really build a good iPhone, to do that, you need those little 5-year-old Chinese fingers, and you need to be able to exploit that. And we can't do that here. But if we start exploiting child labor, I don't have a problem sending my kids to work when they were 5, 6 years old. And we should have done that. We should have done that, but we didn't, and we lost all the manufacturing to the 5-year-old Chinese.
Right, because they not only do they use child labor, but they use prison labor and they use slave labor. Yep. They have people from the rural areas of China who travel as far as 1,000 miles away from their homes into the cities like Shenzhen. And what do they do there? They get locked into these jobs where they can't even leave the facility.
Nope.
They have to work for 13 to 16 hours a day. And in some cases, it's 18 hours a day. This is why they had to erect nets. They're kind of like they literally had to put nets outside of the windows of some of the high rises where these people were working because they were killing themselves. Look it up. Look up Foxconn suicides.
Oh, I know.
And people were killing themselves because they just had enough.
I know. It's amazing. You go around you walk around there now. And, take a little tour. And what is that over there? That's beautiful. Yeah, that's our 6-year-old prison work farm. Right. You got to be 6. That's why it looks nice, because they have the little playground out front. You're like, what? And they stack these employees, I'm saying air quotes here, 8, 10, 15, 20 in a room, right? Yeah. And they all bunk together. They eat together. They do their laundry, the commissary, the food, clothing, everything is there, and they never leave. They never leave.
They don't allow them to.
They don't allow them to. Absolutely crazy. I don't know how we got off on that subject, but it's a fascinating one. Let's take a break right here. When we come back, as promised, we will go through all of those worldwide UFO numbers. What country are we going to start with, Anthony?
Your favorite country, Greece.
We're going to start with Greece. There you go. Our guest tonight, Anthony F. Sanchez, author of UFO Highway. We're going to go through worldwide UFO sightings and numbers around the world, and we're going to end up here in the United States. We're going to talk about that, and then what he intends to do about getting this information out to the masses. It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with Anthony after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Anthony F. Sanchez. His websites, GHOSTHUNTERAPPS.com and UFOHighway.com, are right there at Jimmy Church Radio. You can go and click. And go check out everything that Anthony is always doing. And tonight we're discussing UFO sightings from around the world and their numbers, and then what to do about it. And so before the break, Anthony said we were going to start with Greece.
Right.
And I agree with you. That is a great place to start. And certainly, as we jump into this, Anthony, and you've went and gathered all of this data, most think, and I understand why, but that, like, this is some United States phenomenon. It clearly is not.
No, it is a global phenomenon. It's happening everywhere. And I think it's funny that, we get these famous reports of UFOs from all over, but we tend to focus on where we're from and, what's right in front of what's in our backyard, what's in our neighborhood. But we need to pay attention to international reports. Do you remember Dr. Roger Lear?
Sure.
Who since passed away? You remember when he reported, and he actually had the video from Turkey.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
Right. You actually saw what I believe were gray alien beings in the video. You could literally see them peering out of the craft. It was just crazy. Well, when that happened, that's when I got really excited about, looking at reports in the whole Mediterranean, the Mediterranean Sea, right? The Aegean Sea between Turkey and Greece, and not to mention Israel and Cyprus. So I looked into it, and sure enough, there have been a rash of UFO sightings in that area of the world. I mean, we're talking about classic disc-shaped saucers and triangles. Those are the two that are predominantly seen by people who report. All over Greece, for instance, in Aia, Greece, and Plantanius, Greece, in Athens, there have been sightings of both discs and triangles. And we're talking about 20 years, almost 30 years of reporting with both MUFON and NUFORC. Mind you, the one thing that I tend to be get dismayed about is that most of the time when we talk about UFO reporting, what are we talking about? UFOs. Both NUFORC and MUFON really have extensive databases for UFOs, but there's nothing that allows me to look into aliens and cross-reference, types of aliens and sightings of aliens, of reported abductions. So that's why I'm doing this whole UFO Nexus project. I want to take it to the next level, and I'm going to be doing that this year. But yeah, Greece, speaking of Greece, so many reportings of classic discs and triangles. We need to start paying attention to reports that are coming out of countries like Turkey and Greece and Albania, that entire area, Bulgaria. And not to mention, you have reports coming out of Lebanon and Syria and Israel. There's a lot of stuff happening in Israel as well. So that entire area around the Mediterranean is just, fraught with UFO activity. And it's highly contagious, when you start reading these reports and you start seeing the similarities between said reports. You're like, wow, how many triangles, triangle-shaped craft are being seen across Greece, Turkey, and Israel, not to mention Lebanon. And when you look into it, the numbers are staggering. Now,
how many sightings in 2017 in Greece?
In 2017 in Greece, the number was, give me 1 second, because what I did was I filtered on, let's see, in 2017, the number was, sorting, around 60 sightings in Greece.
Holy crap.
Right. And then if you look at 2016, there was about another 40. In 2018, I've only seen 4 or 5 reports, but we just started the year. Give it to the end of the year, and we're probably going to have a couple of dozen. So
now, what cities in Greece predominantly is there a hot spot?
Right. One of the Athens, definitely Athens, Plantanius, Patras. Patras has a lot of orbs and disc sightings. And then Athens has to be at the top of the list. It looks like Athens is the most active area in Greece.
Yeah, I'm looking here at some of my numbers when it comes to Greece. I'm seeing the same thing. And now, okay, I see sphere, circle, horizontal, capital I, whatever that is, an orb, a bullet, missile-shaped craft, a triangle, fireball, a disc, a cigar. Yeah, pretty. So they've got it all.
Right. And the thing about my book, UFO Highway, is it became like a global sensation when it came out. I started receiving emails from around the world, and I have roughly, I think I'm now approaching 15,000 emails of active individuals who opted into, my email address, and they send me reports regularly. So I get information that doesn't make it into MUFON, doesn't make it into NUFORC, and a lot of the times the reason is because not only is it a UFO reporting, but there are sightings of UFOs. There's people see, they see crop circles that within, 24 to 48 hours disappear, but there's photographic evidence. That is the type of thing that I want to catalog at my new UFO Nexus website. So, and it hasn't launched. It's still a welcome page at the moment, but very soon you're going to see a reporting engine, a search engine. There's going to be, like a connection back to Facebook, where people can dialogue with one another, but it'll be tied into the site. And you're going to see a brand new type of tool for the UFO community, the UFO alien research community.
You mentioned, because we're talking about the Mediterranean here, you also mentioned Lebanon. Well, what was the next country that you wanted to talk about? Because I want to get into Egypt as well.
Right. You know what? If you want to talk about Egypt, I can bring that up right now. So just give me 1 second here. I'm going to go here in Egypt, because I have a mini reporting engine that I've already put together. And let's see here.
Yeah, we didn't even mention Cyprus. Man, Cyprus has got sightings all over the place. Look at that. Yeah, that's right. Crazy. That's wow.
Yep. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to select all.
Because Lebanon, Beirut, of course, Israel, and Cairo and Alexandria, all right there. I would love to know what's going on, because then you can throw in Syria and Iraq. These are very, very old established cultures, but there's also war that's going on.
So get this. This is interesting. With Egypt, I only have 3 reports coming out of Egypt. One is from 2001, and then it goes to 2010, and then 2013. It's pretty spread out. But here's what's strange about it. All 3 reports were triangle UFOs. There were triangles. And to me, again, I actually put together a special report for you out of the U.S., talking about California, Florida, Illinois, and New Jersey, because there is just an abnormal amount of sightings with regards to triangles. You mentioned how I did the show on the Travel Channel for Yosemite. Well, that was a triangle-shaped craft that crashed into the side of a hill right outside of Yosemite near Fresno and in Clovis. And I got to tell you, that seems to be the predominant shape that people have been seeing, not just over the past decade, but over the past 2 decades. And I think that there's a reason for that. And it has to do with the military. It has to do with the defense establishment. It has to do with all of these private manufacturers, these contractors that work for the military-industrial complex, who are working on state-of-the-art advanced, aircraft that are leveraging reverse engineered alien technology. I just spoke on the phone today with Michael Schratt, who's Michael Schratt. He is an aviation historian. He worked for Open Minds, and he does these brilliant diagrams to go along with his research on purported craft that are using reverse engineered technology from companies like Boeing. For instance, when I spoke with Michael, this is way back many years ago when we were reporting on the Clovis, California incident, which was about that show, the topic for the show that I did for the Travel Channel. Michael is the one that came forward and told me that there were rumblings about a craft, a troop carrier that was a triangle shaped craft out of Boeing called the Softocrat. And I remember staring at the blueprints of this thing and thinking, my God, this is possible. This craft it could be what people have been seeing. And we're talking about silent propulsion, advanced propulsion systems. I can't even get into the science. It's so advanced. So it doesn't surprise me when I do a report on triangle sightings and I'm seeing them across America, and in places like Stockton, California, Orlando, Florida, Chicago, Somerville, New Jersey, Morristown, New Jersey. It doesn't surprise me, because when you think about each of those places that I mentioned, not to mention San Jose, California, what is nearby to all of those places? Air Force facilities.
Right.
So it's not a coincidence, Jimmy. It's not a coincidence. And I think the military industrial complex is working on technologies that are beyond our comprehension at the moment, for the most part, for people who are outside of this conspiratorial UFO, fringe topic or subject matter. For those of us within it, we can believe it, we can understand it. We have researched the science and the technology, but other people who operate off of the mainstream media and mainstream academia, it's hard for them to comprehend such technologies. I spoke about a company called Hyperion who was selling micronuclear reactors. This micronuclear reactor was described to me in detail by this retired United States Air Force colonel who claims to have worked at the Dulce facility. It's in the book. It's in my book, UFO Highway. And then not long after, Hyperion, on the web, they change their name. They take down all of the information about the micronuclear reactors that they were selling to foreign customers in military, in offshore mining, drilling sector. And not to mention the fact that the company was headed by Lady Barbara Judge, who was knighted by the Queen of England and awarded by the Queen of England for her works in the international banking sector and the nuclear sector. So it's crazy when you put everything together. When I say we, I'm talking about my team of researchers that I've had with me for years now. Rick Prestel is a good buddy of mine, and Rick was out of Sacramento MUFON, and he's the guy that actually went with me to the top of the Archuleta Mesa and to Mount Archuleta in Dulce, New Mexico, way back in the beginning, and we've since gone back multiple times. But the research done exposing Hyperion led us to other discoveries. For instance, Hyperion at the time had 4 office locations that they operated out of, right there in Los Alamos, in London, England, in Langley, Virginia, and right there adjacent to a place known as the Denver International Airport.
Really?
I wonder.
Yeah,
Isn't that interesting?
Well, and when you talk about this, I want to jump over to get out of the United States. I want to talk about that last, actually.
Yeah.
And I want to get over to Tel Aviv, because when you're talking about this kind of Israel, when you're talking about this kind of research and everything tied to Air Force bases and so forth, and could it be ET technology, the sightings along the coast of Israel have been noted for decades. How many sightings has Israel had?
Israel has had quite a bit of sightings. The reported sightings that I know of probably reach into about 100. I have 100 confirmed reports from Haifa, Tel Aviv, and Kazarin, and several other places, but predominantly Tel Aviv and Haifa are the two, because Haifa is up there, right there on the northern border with Lebanon, and it's on the coast. And Tel Aviv is on the coast, and it's not surprising to me that a lot of the sightings happened around the same time as when Dr. Roger Lear reported his sighting over the Mediterranean from Turkey. And don't lose sight of the fact that Israel has a booming technical sector, equal to that of Silicon Valley, if not more advanced. When I worked at Intel Corporation, I was working for a specific division, and I was running tests on a Linux-based operating system for testing equipment that was coming to us from the Intel facility in Israel. And these were designs for various types of integrated circuits. We had processor designs, just multi-core processors way back in the early 2000s, stuff that's only just coming out now. This is stuff that was 10 to 15 years ahead of its time, and it was not meant for the average consumer, nor was it meant for anybody who was on any type of special contract with Intel. This was high-level experimental stuff. I believe that a lot of the technology that we see especially with regards to integrated circuitry. If you go back to Lieutenant Colonel Phil Corso, and you remember his book and what he said prior to his passing, a lot of this technology was gifted to us. Whether it was from crash retrieval sites, whether it was from collaboration with gray entities, this technology seeps out from the military-industrial complex into the private sector, and with companies like Intel Corporation, and that's how we advanced so quickly, exponentially. Remember, just 100 years ago, we were still in the horse and buggy, and then after 1948, everything changed. And now, when you look at technology today, we are manipulating the atom. We are developing stealth technologies. We are developing new internets. We are, decentralized, networks that are going to allow us to break away from the government control that we were talking about earlier. A lot of new stuff is about to happen, and the world is connected. And information, as it comes out, needs to be collected. It is being collected, but it needs to be disseminated in a way that makes sense, that's easy, and allows us to dig deeper into a lot of these conspiracies. Like, are some of the integrated circuit designs coming out of Israel by way of Intel, and not to mention Malaysia by way of Intel? What are we looking at here exactly? And why is it so far advanced that they're paranoid about it, not because of competitors, but because of who is possibly providing them with this intellectual property, that it not come out for another 15 to 20 years.
Well, are you suggesting that with all of these UFO sightings in Israel and Greece and countries around the world, that this technology has filtered into those countries, and it's not just the United States, as Philip Corso had suggested? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, it's since proliferated outside of the United States into countries like Russia, like Israel, that have, and China, not to mention China. We're talking about, this is one of the things that I believe, Jimmy. I believe that we have kind of gotten out of hand with technology, with a lot of the technology that was gifted to us, that we may have reverse engineered on our own, that somebody is watching. And I think that a lot of the UFO sightings could potentially be those that are watching, the watchers.
Do you think, I've often considered this, do you think that ET has equally distributed tech around the world to make sure that nobody's got one advantage?
I believe so. I think that the Greys are the prime suspect with regards to that assertion. You see, the Greys not only provided various technologies to us here out of Dulce, out of the, under the auspices of the Technology Commercialization Office in Los Alamos, but you have to look at Alice Springs, Australia. There's also an underground facility there where it's well accepted within the UFO community that there are Greys there, and that they have a direct connection with the Greys operating within the United States as part of the military-industrial complex, who are providing various technologies. And I think a lot of the technologies, because of our own nature, human nature, has been compromised. Just look at how Russia has advanced in certain areas. For crying out loud, look at how North Korea has. You think of North Korea and you think of people that are destitute, people that are, because of sanctions against them, that they're left, holding the bag, that they have nothing. But yet their entire government, and outside of coal that they sell to China, they're generating a lot of revenue by their sophistication with regards to infiltrating foreign companies, governments, government institutions through their use of technology. and a lot of which is coming to them directly from China, which is highly advanced. They have good programming skills, but they're doing what? They are hijacking the rest of the planet, and they are making upwards of $300 million annually alone on the hijacking of companies and governments demanding cryptocurrency as payments. And, so you have to understand that it is our human nature to be fallible, right? And things happen, and technology gets away from us. There are spies operating in every country of the world. The CIA is not the only entity that has the ability to infiltrate foreign governments. Previously the KGB, I forget what they're called now in Russia, the Mossad in Israel. You have what is it, MI6 in England. I mean, everybody has their group. Everybody has their field agents and their spies. And technology changes hands. Do you remember Robert Maxwell back in the 1980s? Robert Maxwell was behind. Ultimately, he was behind the distribution and sale of software that had been developed here in the United States that had essentially a connection to every state and federal agency that operated within the law on the judicial system. So they were able to sell this to, he sold it out of Israel. They stole it and he started selling it out of Israel. He was an agent for the Mossad, by the way. There's a whole long story with that. But my point is that even as far back as the 1980s, Inslaw, the software was called Inslaw, and Michael Riconosciuto was the developer behind it. And God, there's a whole another conspiracy behind that. There was a book written called The Octopus. That guy ended up dying, and a bunch of other people ended up dead just because of this software that was being sold. And it was giving a backdoor access to the Chinese, to the Israelis, to the Russians, to every acting enemy of the United States. They had full access to our most sophisticated database at that time, and they knew all of our agents. Saying we were compromised heavily. So that can happen. It still happens. And yes, I believe the technology that was being developed in Israel and Malaysia for Intel and other companies that operate in the semiconductor field, that stuff is being compromised all the time.
We're going to take a break right here. When we come back, what's the next country that we're going to talk about? We just did Israel and Greece.
Right. I want to jump over to the UK.
You want to jump over to the UK? Okay, we'll do that next. And our guest tonight, I'm actually clicking music here. Our guest tonight, Anthony F. Sanchez. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We're talking about UFO numbers and reports from around the world. This is Fade to Black. More with Anthony after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. And last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRAradio.com.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Anthony F. Sanchez. We're talking about UFO sightings all around the world. We just talked about Greece, Israel, little Lebanon, and now we're going to jump over to the UK. Now, I can imagine, is the UK number 2 to the United States in reported sightings?
I think that there are a lot of sightings that come out of the UK, but you need to think back to incidents out of the UK, especially like the Rendlesham Forest incident. Remember that back in 1980? That was December of 1980. There was a series of reported sightings, unexplained lights near Rendlesham Forest. This is in Suffolk, England, and that has since become very controversial. But if you look into it happened at a military installation. Well, I don't remember if it was Royal Air Force or Air Force, U.S. Air Force. I think it was the Royal Air Force.
Well, there was two bases there. One was the United States, and one was the RAF Woodbridge. But yes, 1980 December. It was Christmas.
So let's So that was a very specific sighting. I mean, they took notes and everything. But if you just look over the last year, if you just look at 2017 and in 2018 up to now, there have already been at least 50 reported sightings that are very, very credible. And we're talking about triangles, spheres. And a lot of people seem to report, and this is why I bring up Rendlesham. There was a lot of light associated with that particular UFO. I remember they described it in detail, seeing it. So they thought they saw some writing on it. But across the UK, people report seeing green-colored fireballs, gold-colored fireballs, bright pulsating lights, spinning lighted craft. And that kind of reminds me of some of the description from the individuals who were there at Rendlesham who saw it, the U.S. Servicemen who saw it. And so it makes me wonder, across the UK, are they seeing the same technology that was witnessed in 1980?
Yeah.
And so.
Well, I'm looking at sightings here in the UK, and I got to tell you, Northern Ireland too, Southern Ireland, nearly nothing. Okay,
right.
Northern Ireland it has a lot of sightings there, but it's pretty mind blowing the amount. It goes up and down the UK all the way up. Wow.
And look at this, Jimmy. From going all the way back to 1984. Let me go ahead and sort my date here. From 1984 all the way to the middle of last year, I want to say there was a steady number of sightings of triangles, of triangle-shaped craft. We're talking about Dublin, Belfast, Lisburn, Shannon, Wexford Town, Mullingar, Ireland, and some of them the cities were not specified, but they just put Ireland. So it makes you wonder, what are they seeing there? What triangle craft are they seeing across Ireland and the United Kingdom? What are they seeing? Are they seeing reverse engineered technology? Are they seeing something that the Royal Air Force is experimenting with? You cannot tell me that the Royal Air Force is not leveraging technology that was shared with them, being our number one ally and all, by the United States-owned military-industrial complex.
I don't doubt that a lot of the triangle sightings are us with experimental craft. Mm-hmm. But I'm a big data guy. I like numbers.
Right.
And if we go to if we just go to 1900, the year 1900, right, and radio frequencies, right? And so radio is now being transmitted, and that's leaving the Earth at the speed of light. And if you go 25 light years away, you're talking about, all around planet Earth, 25 light years away. We're talking about millions of planets, right? And so 25 light years later, after that, that allows intelligence out there to send probes or craft in our direction at the speed of light. Mm-hmm. I'm just basing it at that. I'm not talking about other alien tech or ways to fold space and get here in a couple of minutes. But if we just go with what we know and Einstein, right, the speed of light, then, so that's 50 years later. What do we have? 1947. And in 1947, when everything started to kick off here, Roswell and others, but there was two sightings. But there was one sighting in Phoenix with Rhodes and his photographs of a black triangle craft.
Wow.
And you look at those images, which the Air Force showed up at his house, the local newspaper printed the pictures, and this was before Roswell happened. And they print these pictures, and they're amazing photographs. The Air Force shows up at his house and confiscates his negatives, his camera, and the pictures, and he doesn't get them back. So now, was that black triangle? It's a crazy looking craft too, as well. Was that experimental craft? Okay, it's Phoenix. Okay, right. There's an Air Force base right there, and I understand that. So there is that possibility, but there wasn't anybody else. And now with all of our aviation history that we have, looking back, we certainly didn't have any aircraft like that back then, and didn't develop anything. But the point is, it was a triangle craft that was sighted in 1947 and photographed. So I don't know what these craft are that are being seen, these black triangles, of which I photographed one myself in 1995. And so is some of it us? Sure. Yeah, I believe that. I truly believe that, but not all of it.
Right. It's funny, Jimmy, as you mentioned how 25 light years away, is how far the messages that we sent emanating from what you said, the 40s?
No, 1900.
Or 1900. Okay, just think about this. There are approximately 62 known star systems that are within 20 to 25 light years away from us. Those are star systems with a total of 83 stars within those 62 systems. Every star within that system, remember, we now know that there are more planets in the universe than there are stars.
That's right.
So I don't even know, I can't even factor, how many potential planets there are, but that is a lot of star systems. 83 stars out of 62 star systems within 20 to 25 year light year range out from Earth. Somebody has to be listening, or something has to be listening. You remember they talked about the discovery of this massive star that hasn't even somehow there's some massive, either now they're saying it could be a dust cloud, but a lot of people still believe it is a massive alien structure, possibly something like a Dyson sphere, constructed around a star. That type of technology, if it does exist out there in the universe, we are what are we called? What is Kaku, Dr. The astrophysicist Michio Kaku says? He says we're a type 1 civilization?
Type 0, yeah.
Type 0 civilization, exactly.
Right.
So imagine a star system that's harnessing the power of their own sun. They should be able to pick up messages that we have sent out, over the past century, quite easily, and make decisions on whether or not to visit us. Should they have that type of technology, interstellar travel should be quite simple. Should be quite a simple feat for somebody, for some civilization, alien civilization at that level.
It's a numbers game. It's purely a numbers game. And if you play the numbers game, and we're looking at, our Milky Way with 1 trillion planets, a trillion planets. Well, you take a tiny percentage, 0.01%. Now we're talking about, 1 million planets, 1 million civilizations, 1 million. It's just a numbers game. So, and you start to look at it in those terms, and how advanced they could be if they were just a simple 1,000 years ahead of us. Where are we going to be in 1,000 years? It's just a numbers game, Anthony. It's a numbers game. And if they're 10,000 years in front of us, do you think that we are going to be cruising around in the space shuttle, burning gas in 10,000 years? I don't think so. We're not even going to have these bodies in 10,000 years. So it's a numbers game. And so are they aware of us? Of course they are. We're looking for them right now. And we're finding these planets, and we don't know. I say it all the time. We're the hillbillies of the universe, but we're still managing to find those planets out there. So have they found us? Of course they have. And they're here every single day. So that's the way that I look at it. Let's get back to England for a second. Out of these, are they seeing... you mentioned the green chrome balls. I really like that.
Right, bright spheres.
Yeah, bright spheres, which I see all the time, and so do you. I find that fascinating. Black triangles, and what else are they seeing?
There are a lot of reportings of formations of craft. They see a lot of craft formations. You remember in back in the 1950s in Farmington, New Mexico, people reported what they could only describe as an armada, or a large formation of UFOs traveling eastward from Farmington out towards Dulce, New Mexico, and then beyond Dulce. Well, that happens a lot in the UK. If you were to look at some of the reportings from the rural areas of England, and Wales, you'll find that a lot of the reportings are formations of craft. So to me, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking through these reports out of the UK. Pretty solid. I'm talking
pretty
about
extensive.
Yeah. Sphere, cylinder, sphere, circle, egg-shaped, teardrop, cylinder, star-like, triangle, oval, fireball, triangle.
Not to mention cigar-shaped crafts. There have been approximately, I want to say at least since they started reporting UFO sightings in the UK, at least 200 reportings of cigar-shaped craft. And this is why I find that interesting. When my book UFO Highway came out, I was actually contacted by, oh my God, I can't believe I'm having a brain slip at the moment. Gary McKinnon. I was contacted by his girlfriend, his living girlfriend. And she had told me, she goes, Anthony, she goes, Gary is a huge fan of your book and the work that you're doing. And they actually said, had I ever gone to the UK, and I got another friend out there too, David Wright, they said if I ever got there, I had a place to stay, which was really cool. I really appreciated that. What did Gary McKinnon report as one of the UFOs that he saw? He saw an image. Now, you got to remember, when he was doing his work on the internet, looking into the networks of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and he found the spreadsheets of the non-terrestrial officers. One of the things he actually found was an image that he was downloaded. He had downloaded an image of a cigar-shaped craft over the horizon of the Earth. But this thing was massive. It was massive in size. And that's when they caught him. When he started to download that image, that's when they cut him off. They realized somebody had compromised highly critical, classified information. And that's when the whole Gary McKinnon saga began. But it was a cigar-shaped craft. And in places like Somerset, Bristol, Manchester, Bradford, Coventry, Shepton Mallet, Brighton, everywhere across the United Kingdom, there are tons of cigar-shaped crafts, making me wonder if there's somebody paying attention to that part of the globe. You got to remember, this is a global phenomena. UFOs don't just crash in New Mexico. They crash everywhere. There are reported crash sites from around the world, not to mention landings and encounters with them. There was an entire school class of children in Africa. I forget which country it was. I got it a while back, but they reported seeing a large disc land in a field, and they saw gray aliens come out, and they interacted with them. And there was a whole documentary made about this. These kids were not lying. They saw something that was not of this earth.
Yeah, the drawings that they did are pretty amazing. I think two of the kids, they're now grown-ups, are going to be speaking at the MUFON Symposium this year. They're finally starting to surface. I would love to get them on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but now, I've never seen a cigar. I've seen so many different types of craft, but I've never seen a cigar shape, and I've always tried to imagine what that would be like in person, but I have yet to see a cigar-shaped craft. One of the interesting sightings that we had was up at Isetti Ranch, and this craft, it flew over us, and it was low, and when I hear people talk about, saucer-shaped craft and things, all right, and I listen to everybody, but this was a frigging flying saucer, right? And it came over, it was so low, I don't know, I'm going to say 5,000 feet, maybe a mile, not very high at all, but you could see the craft itself, and as it came over us, it lit up and flashed us, and then you could see it was like best way I could describe it, the surface was like a pearl. It was white, but it had some pink in it, swirls, and like a pearl does when you look at it. And as it flew away from us, it had like blue like a pearl. When you look at a pearl, you see the blue and the pink and the white. It was kind of like that, and it was changing. I don't know how to explain it, but this thing was it was a disc, and it flew right over us. It was crazy. It was one of those sightings that it was so low that I thought that I heard it. Like the wind.
Right.
I don't think that I did, but I was certainly imagining that. It was really that low. Yeah, Karen, who was standing next to me up there, she just said it was pearlescent, and she was there. She saw it. There was probably 75 or 100 of us that were there that saw it that night. And
I believe it.
Well, I'm so glad that we had witnesses, because it was one of the craziest. That was pretty nuts. It was.
James actually invited me a while ago to the East Eddy Ranch, and I never took him up on it, and I've always wanted to go. And I think now that my boys are older, definitely somewhere I want to go. Jimmy, do you remember when Paranormal Research Society came out with their TV show in the early 2000s? They actually went, a Paranormal State. It was called Paranormal State. They went to the East Eddy Ranch.
Chad Kalick. Yeah, he went up. Yep.
And they did a show. And it was the first time that I saw a show where I was just dumbfounded. I was like, I could not explain just how authentic this show, what they were witnessing. Because you could literally see they were freaking out.
Yeah.
They were freaking out. They were like, and James was like, I told you.
Anthony, there was this one night, which was the night that I'm talking about with this thing that flew over us. For about 45 minutes, it was like the end of Close Encounters.
Oh my God.
And I mean, it was like, look to your left, look to your right, look up, look over at the mountain, look behind you. It was so funny. There was a guy that was standing next to me with his night vision, and he kept going, there's another flasher. There's another flasher. And I kept looking up, and man, there's, and I don't see these things in Los Angeles. I'm maybe with night vision, you can go and see stuff, but up there at East Eddy, you just stand there and you just look around, and there's crazy. There was, check this out. Same night as this disc that flew over, and it was right around. It's this 45-minute period, and I look over to my left, and which would have been to the west, hard west, and I'm looking, and it's like 10 o'clock at night, and at 10 o'clock, because you're so far north, the night sky is only night straight up, but around to the west and like it's still like daylight. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, so way out to the west, I don't know, just up above the ground, 10 or 20 degrees, but almost like you're looking straight. I see this planet, this bright star sitting out there by itself, and I was like, wow, I don't remember that being there. And I turned to my friend Mark, and I go, check that out. And so we both look at it, and everybody just kind of turned to look, and we're looking at it. And it's sitting there, and there was like another star that was next to it, much smaller. But as everybody is looking at it going, wow, that's kind of bright, that's kind of interesting, and it's just sitting there, it's not moving. And all of a sudden, it lights up, goes bright. It's already a bright, big planet thing. It just goes bright, and then like a dragster at the NHRA National Finals, Dan Garlitz, it lights up and just goes pew, and takes off and goes to the north and disappears over the horizon. And it's like, wait, what does that? What does that? And everybody is screaming, and I'm just thinking to myself, what is going on here? There is something happening. This phenomenon, This thing where people are questioning an ET presence and a technology that is visiting this Earth, and we're standing here watching things fly over. We're watching this thing take off, and lights and orbs and just crazy stuff. And it happened for like 45 minutes, and it was nonstop.
Wow,
it was nonstop. Nonstop.
You're totally reminding me of something that happened in 2011. That was the year that I met, and God rest his soul because he passed away, Ed Grimsley. Ed Grimsley is the guy that went into the bathroom and stood next to George Norrie with a brown bag, like a lunch bag. And George didn't know what was going on. And he said, I'm the guy with the night vision. I got something to show you. And he took George Norrie. This was at UFO Congress. It was in San Jose, California at the time. This is back in the mid-2000s. He took him up to the roof, and that was the night George Norrie was blown away. Well, in 2011, Rick Prestel from Sacramento MUFON and we went out and joined Ed Grimsley at a baseball field where he lived in Calistoga, California. This is California's Napa Valley. There's no light pollution out there. It's beautiful at night. You can see everything. That was the first time I had ever put on Gen 3 night vision goggles. We're talking a $4,800 set of night vision goggles. And we all had them out there because Ed had around, I think he had around a set of 6 of them, 2 which he had borrowed from another person who was doing the same thing. Anyway, we were out there. Bob Oliver from Monterey, California, he had a UFO radio show. I didn't know what to expect. And Ed told us, we have the known trajectories of all the government satellites, private satellites, and we even know where the spy satellites are. So we kind of stayed away from looking at where the trajectory of satellites were, and we were concentrating on other areas. I don't know, Jimmy, I saw UFOs. It looked like a space battle. It looked like these things were chasing each other.
George told me about that. He said Grimsley took me up on the roof of the hotel, and he said, Jimmy, I looked through and I saw stuff that I cannot explain. What I saw, I can't explain. I said, exactly. I don't know what we have when it comes to technology and satellites, and I know that there's some crazy stuff up there, and there's no doubt about that, and there's things that we don't know about when it comes to the military, and I understand that, but that's not what you see when you're looking up at night vision, when you're watching stuff, just take a right-hand turn or a zigzag and light up and move and change directions, and in an east-west thing over the equator, normal what do we have up there? Tens of thousands of satellites. Okay, and you see that, and I understand if you're going to go and look for that. It's the stuff that is not, it's at an angle, right? It's not, or it's in a polar orbit, it's going north to south, and then suddenly changes directions or stops. Right, and moves, and I can't explain that. And the stuff that you see from this Earth fly up into the stars, I've seen that, and I can't explain that stuff away so easily.
I actually wanted to ask you a question. Talking about Ed Grimsley reminded me about this. He had done a movie with Jose Escamilla. He was like the co-producer for this movie. It was called UFO, The Greatest Story Ever Denied, Moon Rising.
Yep,
and it was focused on the moon. I want to ask you, do you think that it is possible that on our moon, and possibly on the far side of the moon, that there are alien bases? You remember that declassified report that came out of the JPL archives that talked about the astronauts seeing satellites on the surface of the moon, hearing what sounded like chanting or music coming across radio signals that were directed at them?
That's right.
When we see a lot of this technology, is it plausible that some of this technology is coming from the moon?
Yeah, in our own solar system. Yes, and I remember what really got me on this thought, because I've often thought that there could be something on Europa, or different moons, inside of our solar system. I always thought Pluto would be a good spot for.
Well, they just announced that they believe that it is highly possible that within the atmosphere of Venus, there's life. They just announced that.
Yeah, yes. So I've got to take a break right here. But when we come back, we'll finish this, and we'll go to the next country that we need to talk about. But it was Nick Redfern, and I was hosting a panel. And so I posited that question to Nick. And Nick said, I think they're not traveling light years, right? They're not bending space. They're just coming from the moon, and these ships that we see here, they're not traveling the universe. They're just going from the moon to here. And I just thought, that makes a lot of, if you just stop and think about that for a second, if you stop and think about it, that makes an awful lot of sense for these, for the smaller disc-shaped crafts, where you've got a seat on the inside. You don't have a bedroom, a stateroom, right?
Right.
It's just one room. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Anthony F. Sanchez. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious.
I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Oh, man, I've lost audio in one ear. That's interesting. What could that be? Ah, man. I hope it's, no, it's not. It's actually going out on one side. I apologize to everybody for this. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, just lost audio to one side. I can't think like this. Hold on for a second. Okay, if I switch, yeah, sure enough. I've lost audio to one side. Why would I be losing audio to one side?
And it's club DJs. It only listens to one side anyway.
Yeah, it's absolutely bizarre. And so I can, what weird. It just decided to just crap out, and I don't know why. Right as I came back, I'm looking at, sure enough, all of my meters in the studio now show one channel. Now, why would that be? Would I be getting a short? Hold on for a second. Hold on. Let's see if that didn't fix it. Wow. Okay, hold on. Let's see if that fixed it. No?
Nothing.
And you talk to me, Anthony.
Yeah, your audio is in. It's coming out fine. Okay. The audio is coming out fine. So
okay, no, you're in both ears.
Okay,
I am not.
That would mean that if you have a mixing console in front of you, a mixer,
Have you seen my studio?
It's probably gorgeous.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and and I understand signal stuff. So I am only going out on one channel, and I can figure out. Now I'm back.
Yay!
Okay. So I am messing with my mute button. It was my mute button shorting. Wow, that's bizarre. Okay,
that's funny.
Yeah.
Really quickly, while we're on the topic of audio, my son is a brilliant guitarist. He's 20 years old, and I'm building him a recording studio, and I'm desperately trying to find an Alesis 3630 compressor limiter. I had one before. It was the best compressor limiter that I ever had owned in my life, and it was from Alesis.
Yes, those are great. And and 3630, by the way, the number 3630. This is the Brainiacs at Alesis. You know why we called it the 3630? It was our address. That's a true story.
God, that's so funny, man.
3630 Holdridge Avenue, Culver City, California. And that's where we got the name. So there's no technical genius behind that, you know. So anyway, there are other compressors out there. Get, the DBX 160 XT. The 166 is brilliant. The Behringer, the Multicom, and the stuff that you can't buy them at music stores. You got to order them online.
I used to love Behringer because I had an entire studio back in the mid 2000s, and I had rack mounts. Everything was Tascam and Behringer, and I loved Behringer because they were just so cost effective.
And it
was German technology.
It's so funny. You just said I looked over at my rack. I have Tascam, Behringer, and DBX sitting next to me right in a row. I have the Tascam MH6 or MH8 headphone amp. I have the Behringer Multicom Pro, a 4-channel compressor. And I've got 3 of the DBX 166s, the stereo ones.
Oh, very nice.
So that's what I run here. So, yeah, I'm heavily compressed.
Yeah. Get that mute button fixed.
Well, see, the thing is, when you don't use it often, they short out, and so I don't. But anyway, the my signal here is so compressed, It's compressed more than the asphalt out in the street in front of your house. And, but I like that sound. I like that compressed sound.
I'm talking out of a Mackie. I have an Audio Technica mic going through a Mackie mixer, but I don't have compression on here. And I think maybe I need to buy a compressor.
Yeah, I've got 3 Mackie mixers. I have 3 of the Onyx. A couple of them are leaning up against the wall over there. A couple of 16 channels and an 8 channel.
Hey, Behringer. So speaking of Germans and German technology.
Yes.
The last country I wanted to talk about is Argentina.
Let's go there. Okay.
All right, so let me take you back to 1962. Albert Bender. He was a retired veteran of the Air Force, right? He fought during World War II. He wrote a book called Flying Saucers into 3 Men. What was interesting is Albert Bender, he founded the International Flying Saucer Bureau, which was one of the early, which was one of the early groups. It's kind of like the modern day MUFON, but way back in the 50s and in the 60s. Well, he believed that he was abducted by aliens multiple times during the 1950s. And one of those incidents, he claims that he was taken to a 200-year-old secret underground facility in Antarctica. And he saw landing strips. He saw UFOs. He met a base commander that was a descendant of an Earth-born reptilian race. Now and those are the people he said built the base. Now this is what's interesting. You heard about about Thule Island down there, like from the Thule Society, and there's other areas in Antarctica, other islands right there in the South Atlantic Ocean where there are purported photos of UFOs submerged beneath ice. Mm-hmm. Well, there are tons of UFO sightings out of Argentina. Triangles, light formations, craft formations, circle, diamond-shaped craft, ovals, chevrons, cigar-shaped craft, every kind of, and in formations, large formations of armadas of UFOs. Everything you could think of, Argentina has seen it. In Mar del Plata, Buenos Aires, Las Heras, everywhere. It's crazy.
They had 200 sightings in 2017.
Oh my God. So I ask you, Jimmy, do you think that what the Argentinians are seeing is technology possibly not, born of Nazi German technology emanating from Antarctica? And remember, a lot of people believed that the Nazis were developing flying saucer technology. A lot of people believed that a lot of their technology was inspired by stolen alien technology. So after the fall of Berlin, the end of World War II, the final days of the Third Reich, everybody knows there was a mass exodus from Germany to Argentina. Now, if there was, and a lot of people believed that there were U-boats that were constantly being seen by Antarctica.
Yes.
So do you think it's possible? I do. I think it's possible that what they're seeing in Argentina is possibly the remnants of some Nazi programs, and possibly if Albert Bender was correct about this 200-year-old secret underground facility there in Antarctica, that we could be seeing technology from these reptoids.
The reason why I have always felt that the Germans continued to develop in Argentina. Argentina is way remote. It's on the southern end of South America. And the country itself, once you get there, you can do whatever you want. Nobody will know. You have to go down there and go and try to find it to get caught. Okay? And you can do whatever you want in the jungles of Argentina, and nobody is ever going to find out. And so if you are going to continue some clandestine research and do it away from everybody else, the focus for everybody was Europe in World War II. Mm-hmm. And, well, of course, North Africa and Italy and Japan, but what wasn't on the radar was South America. And
there are a ton of cattle mutilations in Argentina, too, not unlike what we see here in the Southwest.
I'm looking at the amount of sightings in Argentina, and you're absolutely right. It's an extraordinarily large amount. Triangle, spheres, cylinders, square, rectangular, fireballs, a lot. Egg-shaped, sphere, unknown, sphere.
A while back, when I was doing research on Argentina, I went to the Newfork database, and one of the entries that I found was an anonymous entry from 2002. It was the summer of 2002. Somebody had posted that in the year 1900, there were reported sightings of crafts. They're all up and down the southern coast of Argentina, of UFOs. That's in 1900,
right?
So, and we have a lot of these, historical, pieces of evidence that go back further, way back into the annals of antiquity, like, biblical report. I mean, you can read about, UFOs in the Bible. You can look at famous works of art from the Renaissance era that depict UFOs. It's crazy. But I think that, you and I, you mentioned Göbekli Tepe all the time. We're talking about a civilization that was here on this planet some 13,000 years ago. We don't know what was happening on this planet 13,000 years ago, because with the collapse or the destruction of the Library of Alexandria, with the destruction of the libraries in Mexico by the Spaniards, we lost so much information about the ancient ones. It's already been proven that Plato had a relative who lived 200 years before him. He was like it was a relative of his. He was a direct descendant of this guy who had chronicled the collapse of Atlantis. When Atlantis was destroyed, which occurred somewhat 9,000 years prior to his existence, and this was information that was well known among historians at the time, and they talked about these people. They referred to them as the ancient ones, and they referred to their advanced technology. Well, when you look at that 9,000 years, and you look at the time of Plato's existence up to today, it goes back 13,000 years ago. They've already found evidence that there was a massive deluge around the globe corresponding. No, I'm talking about a surge in tidal levels of our oceans. At one point, as much as 30 feet, the oceans rose as much as 30 feet in a 24-hour period. This is all chronicled when they examined sedimentary evidence. Not to mention, they found an entire layer of nanodiamonds around the globe. 2/3 of the globe, they have already discovered a sedimentary layer of nanodiamonds that carbon date back to 13,000 years ago, when something massive hit North America. And what was North America covered with at that time? 3 miles thick of ice spanning the entire northern continent.
Unbelievable.
Right.
Unbelievable. I don't know, Anthony, when we talk about all of these modern sightings, and we can go out and we can see stuff today, and black triangles and cylinders and green chrome balls and talk about this stuff. It has been going on forever. The ancients saw the same things in the skies that we do. It has to be that way. Why would it be different? Why is it just a modern phenomenon? We have plenty of reports from the 1700s and 1800s in newspapers that weren't everything couldn't have been a meteor. What else was flying in the sky?
Right.
Nothing. Not from us, at least. And there were plenty of reports. You can go and look. And if you look into the historical record, and this is what is really interesting. If you search, and today we have the internet, if you pick a day and pick a year and punch in whatever, 18. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it in real time. Okay, let's punch in 1815 UFO sighting. That's all I'm doing. All right. And so you punch that in, and there are
little creatures spotted in Ilkley Moor, England.
Bingo.
1815.
Bingo. Right? And so and you can do that. I've done this. So I have done this and just punched in dates. I remember I went through this is probably 4 years ago. But I spent a day doing that.
Yeah.
I spent a day just punching in dates, and I would go year by year and punch in dates, and you can find something in the historical record for just about every year. And if you go deeper than that, you can nearly find something on every day.
And that's everything that I'm planning to do at my new website, UFOnexus.com. It's going to be a global reporting and research portal dedicated to UFO and alien phenomena going all the way back to antiquity. It's going to cover everything historical all the way up to the present. And how it's going to differ from Newfork and MUFON is it's going, like those sites, it's going to be free. You just have to register. I'm going to ask people to register so that we can weed out people that are trying to, put in hoax type information. We're going to vet everybody. And once you're in, you are going to have access to one of the most sophisticated online systems that you can put up in a war room type, facility on multiple screens, because we're going to have multiple reporting engines that operate in real time. If you're in Suffolk, if you're on the system and somebody reports a UFO sighting in the UK and Suffolk, England, you're going to see it the moment it's reported. If somebody reports that they, saw aliens in the middle of South Africa, and they report it, you're going to see it the moment it gets reported. And you're going to be able to cross-reference data, which you've not been able to do before. So this is new. This is new. We're going to take UFO reporting and alien phenomena reporting to the next level. UFOnexus.com. And that's something that I'm really excited about.
Are you, with a platform like OnStellar, which you're involved with, is there a way, are you thinking into the future where UFO Nexus and OnStellar would be tied together?
They already are, because I have already reserved my name, UFO Nexus, at OnStellar, because I plan to have loads of information, content at OnStellar that lets everybody at OnStellar know, oh, you're here because we know that you are interested in the UFO alien phenomena. Well, check out this reporting engine and then report back here at OnStellar on your page.
Wow. See, and that's and especially after I think this is what is very important. And you mentioned Silicon Valley earlier, right? The TV show. The focus on this season, which is brilliant, is exactly what OnStellar is talking about doing. They want to have a decentralized internet, right? Today, Zuckerberg started to dip his toe into that when they were talking about the next social media platform that is going to surface and put Facebook out of business. And, kind of the question of monopoly and things. So that they almost went there today with Congress. Silicon Valley's talking about it. OnStellar that's exactly what it is, a decentralized social media platform. And to do that, it is taking all of this to the next level and taking the control away from players, and I'm referring to Washington, D.C. and the DOD and those that would, infiltrate and mess with us. You are writing this, you are creating this, UFO Nexus, you are compiling the data, tying that in with OnStellar, and again, decentralized and putting the control and the information into the hands of us and the community.
Right. Let's say something breaking happens, like some sort of breaking news happens at UFO Nexus. We get this crazy report. It's vetted, it's valid, but it's not making the powers that be happy that the information is being disclosed. I know that at OnStellar, it is uncensored, it's unfettered. It is going to be the place that I could put that information. and not worry about it being shut down.
Right. Exactly. Do you hear dogs barking?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
I hear a little pup.
Wow. Okay, so when do you think UFO Nexus is going to surface?
I would like to see UFO Nexus launch in June.
About the same
of this year, in June, yes.
About the same time as On Stellar, June, July, August.
Right. And because I'm thinking about going to Contact in the Desert, taking my boys with me and my buddy Rick, and talking to people about it. If I have it launched at that point, I'm definitely going to be at Contact in the Desert, talking to as many people as I can.
You're coming out to Contact.
Yeah, I'm going to have lunch with George Norrie, I hope, if I can get in, if it's not sold out.
Oh, man, I'll arrange it. Don't you? I got a little juice there.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm going to be on television. I'm going to be filming in May with George Norrie on his show, Beyond Belief, back at Gaia in Colorado.
Oh, right on.
May 20th.
Right on. Make sure, when you do the Gaia thing, when you speak to them, you just go, Jimmy says I get the black SUV Escalade.
And Jimmy, can I make a real quick announcement? Everybody knows about my book, UFO Highway, which they can get at ufohighway.com.
Yep.
I am close to completing my next book. It is called Our Alien Masters, and that should be coming out hopefully in the June-July timeframe as well.
Wow, you're busy.
Very busy.
Can anybody pre-order the book?
I will be making an announcement as soon as it is off to the presses. So they will be able to pre-order it, and I will have links everywhere. And maybe I'll come back on to Fade to Black if I'm so privileged, and we could do another UFO report and talk about the new book.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about your radio show? What's up with that?
Right. I got a little podcast. It's been on a hiatus because I just started working at this incredible new job where I'm doing, of course, software development. But it's been on hiatus, but I have a whole bunch of new material. I'm probably going to spend, 1 or 2 weekends pumping out a bunch of shows. And that's at strangeradiocentral.com.
Okay, man, you are busy. I like your set that you built. By the way, I'm checking you out in the background. See, I don't comment, I don't post, but I'm there watching. Yeah, it looks really nice, everything that you do. Thank you so much, Anthony. Be safe and be well, my friend, and we'll see you at Contact in the Desert. The book, I'm assuming, will be announced at ufohighway.com.
Yes, it will.
But also there's GHOSTHUNTERAPPS.com. It's all right there. And then, of course, UFO Nexus will be launching here in a couple of months.
Right. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Anthony. Be safe and be well. Oh, tell your mom I said yo. Will you do that for me?
I sure will. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anthony. Be safe and be well.
Bye-bye, Jimmy.
Anthony Sanchez. It's very, very simple. UFOhighway.com, GhostHunterApps.com. The links are right there. And all of Anthony's links and information for everything that he does are on his sites. Anthony F. Sanchez. Okay, I'm going to open up the phone lines. Let's do this. We got a lot to talk about tonight, so I'll be taking your phone calls next. Stay with us.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hey, can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at naturesyouth.com. naturesyouth.com. The holidays are coming. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at naturesyouth.com. That's naturesyouth.com.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Got to thank Anthony F. Sanchez for coming in tonight. The sightings around the world, and you start to look at this, and I was looking through the data. The sightings around the world are just extraordinary. And we tend to focus on the United States, and I understand that. We live here. If you lived in Argentina, you would be looking at the sightings in Argentina. And I understand that. It's not a phenomenon here, but you start to look at the numbers, and it's crazy. He brought up, the phone lines are open, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. But the numbers, and I'm starting to look at this, it's extraordinary, right? But he brought up John Lear in Turkey, which I brought up Friday night over at Coast to Coast. There was this video that was posted up on the Coast to Coast website showing this, I'm wondering if it's still there at Coast to Coast, showing this mothership outside of this window in North Carolina. And let me see if it's still here. No, I don't see it. Okay, I'm going to have to somebody go and find that video. It's North Carolina mothership UFO, and it was reported to MUFON. And I, as I was looking at it and trying to think, where have I seen this before? And then it hit me. It was John Lear. It was John Lear's famous Turkey UFO video. And if I remember correctly, going back to that video, it was, if somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I seem to remember that video being hours long. Hours. And it was just sitting out over the horizon and just sitting there and for hours. And I just watched that video and looking at the close-ups, Anthony is right. You know, you see this, what looks like this gray, alien gray in the, here it is here. Okay, thank you, Tampa Rick. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, did I say John Lear or Roger Lear? I said John Lear. Roger Lear. And I'm posting it now. There you go. I just retweeted it. And you can look at this video. I've got to mute it. Here it is. And watch this video. So as I'm looking at this, I think some people pointed out that it possibly could have been shot through a window. Maybe it's a reflection. I don't know. But I don't think it is, because the moon is moving with it. Yeah, no, it's definitely shot. It's shot through a window or outside. Yeah. So anyway, so back to this. So I'm like, what does this remind me of? And then I remembered it was the Roger Lear video from Turkey. Nearly identical. With the same window, thing in the middle and the same shape. And it's just funny that Anthony brought that up when I just, I took phone calls and everything over at Coast to Coast about this on Friday night. It makes me want to go back. People were posting the pictures of Roger's, some stills from Roger's video. And I've got to say, it's still looks like the Turkey UFO to me. I agree with you. That's from Karen. I said John Lear. Roger Lear. So it's just funny, right? It's just weird that I hadn't brought up Roger Lear's Turkey video in years. I haven't thought about it. And then I saw this amazing video from Friday night. I still don't know what this video is. I'm watching it over here on Coast to Coast, and that's pretty amazing. I don't know what it is. Have you guys looked at this video yet? Have you guys looked at this? This thing's incredible. And when you take it up to full screen like I have it here, and you look at this, that's a pretty good video. My comments on Friday night on Coast, if I remember right, were that it doesn't look, I don't think it's CGI. I don't think it's computer generated. I think we can take that off the list because of the way that it's moving with the planet, with the moon in the background. So it's definitely an object in the sky. Is it sticks? Is it with lights on it? I don't know. Is it some kind of drone? Some hobbyist out there. It's staying perfectly still. There isn't any sound in the video. You hear the guy coughing and stuff, but you don't hear any prop noise or any motor noise coming from this in the background. So I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a real object, whatever it is. I think it's pretty incredible. And I don't know if it's been debunked. I haven't had a chance. I should have gone back over the weekend, done some more research into this. Does anybody know if this has been debunked? Give me a call, 323-825-5045. Let me clear the phone lines here, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Let me open up that one. Okay, we're good. Phone lines are open. What do you think about that? That video is pretty incredible. I'm not sure. I don't know. And if anybody's done any, definitely triangular. I see that too. If anybody knows if it's been debunked, let me know. Okay. Now back to my comments. I want to about the warehouse out there in Las Vegas. I had to put a lot of thought into it before I made any crazy statements here. You have to think about, everybody that just called in, stay right there. I see you. Okay, I see you. Stay right there. The secret is not a secret anymore. The Las Vegas warehouse is now in the press. And it has some type of foreign technology there. They've called it alloys, meta-alloys, and composite, whatever the terminology is. I don't think any of that matters. The secret is out of the bag. So why don't, if everything is correct, if everything is as it should be, then reveal what you have. It's not a secret anymore. If you want to develop this into the civilian sector, which is what TTSA has been talking about, well, then show us what you got. What is it that you plan on developing from this? Bring it forward. And have a press conference. Let everybody look at it and let's go. It's go time. That's it. And that's what tells me, if you don't have that element, because you're selling stock in TTSA and you've got these, this evidence, that's being tested out there, throw it all out there. That's the best thing you could do for TTSA. And if it doesn't happen and you get the runaround, then that just means that they know it's not off planet. It's a good story. It is, and it could be stuff from Russia and China and what have you around the world. Different pieces of crashed aircraft from foreign air forces, and I'm okay with that. But don't try to insinuate that it's off planet or that you're trying to figure out if it is off planet. If that is the case, show it to us. We have a lot of brilliant people out here that will be able to tell you exactly what it is. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hello, Jimmy. Is that you?
Yes, it is me. Who's this?
Oh, good. Mirella from Sydney.
That's Mirella from Sydney, everybody. Like we didn't know after hearing that accent where you're at.
Thank you.
What's on your mind tonight?
Look, my heart is beating. I find it I'm very nervous calling. I don't talk very much.
Okay, well, fair enough, but you can take a deep breath. And what's on your mind?
Okay, so I'm like just blown away. It's just everyone is coming forward, one after the other. I don't even have time to think about what I have on my plate to bring forward. I'm too busy listening. When I'm not listening, I'm just going outside and spending as much time in nature as I can because I am nervous. I am nervous like anything.
Because you know that something's about to happen? Is it because you feel anxiety that there's something about to break open?
Yeah, like that anxiety. So I manage anxiety really well. Really, really well. I've had a lot of ups and downs, which listening to people from coast to coast too, they've all got their stories and they've all got, you interview them really well. I don't want to, go over there so much, but I'm really interested in what might be happening here. So I have had a sighting just before the December 16th all blew up. Now, I was so excited just from what I'd seen over my house, and it was a triangle shape, but it didn't have the back end. It just had the two front pointing in the V, heading very slowly, but not slow enough to be anything, but fast enough, and it was heading towards the moon, which was rising in the east from my place and where I was standing. It overwhelmed me that much, and I didn't take a photo because my phone was in the other room. I'd just come back from Queensland. So it was a long trip back with my little dog, and I was standing in my kitchen, big open windows, big oval behind me. I've got a football oval, but it's not just one. It's like 7 altogether.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. And I just made a cup of tea. I was just off the plane. I just had some dinner. I look out to the east, and there it was. I could not believe my eyes. I could believe my eyes because I was so happy to be home. I was so happy to have just moved here only a month beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And it was as if I'd been up taking care of Mum and Dad in Mackay. I had a few things going on up there. And So I'd come back in this really good space, but exhausted as well. And I was so relieved to be home and here. And then I saw this craft. Now I just stepped off the airport. It wasn't on the flight, path. That's very distinct here where I live. The flight path that comes in and out.
Right.
It was not. It was way out where the flights don't hook around the ocean; they go around the other way.
What time?
And then
What time was this?
Yeah. So it was after dusk. It was night. And it was after dusk, but before night.
Okay.
And the lights in the Oval were not on. It was all ready for nighttime here. It's a very neighbourhood stuff, quiet.
Mm-hmm.
There it was. It was orange lights, which took me by surprise because I thought that's coloured orange lights all along the line at that point. And it was a triangle, but it didn't have the back piece, just the triangle shape with the orange lights blinking a little bit or glimmering a little bit, not blinking, which ruled out an airplane or anything of that sort. And I know what they look like, helicopters, everything around here. No, it was much bigger. It was wonderful. It filled me with such a wonder. And I have spent every day listening to you, listening to everyone. I only have a couple of friends. We talk. They're going through everything. Everything from childhood, which I'm not talking about now, but a lifetime experience that I could call myself that. But having this now and having you there in LA where my grandkids are, we talk, is just the best. Thank you. And
well, can I ask you some questions? Okay, you said that it was orange and you could see the sides of it, but was the craft itself, was it black and then it was lit up with orange lights, or was it an orange triangle?
It was black, but the orange lights were in the beams, and it looked to me they were underneath.
Right.
It wasn't exact. It was like, it wasn't a V geometrical thing. It was a craft that was on its side heading east toward the moon.
Right.
And it was an obvious V, like as if you saw an eagle flying in, or sort of like that somehow.
Right.
Flying there. And the lights were, they were stationary lights, but they were glimmering like in and out of colour, like gold and yellow and orange and kind of reddish.
Amazing.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, so cool. How long did it last?
Yeah, I stood there, I put my tea down in my hand, and I had my camera in the other room.
Right.
And I was so reluctant to take my eyes off it, as you would, like if you saw, I look at wildlife, I look at them, I'm afraid to take my eyes off something in case they whisk away, and you lose sight of it. That's what it was. I was in that zone.
Right.
And it was about 6 minutes.
Oh, holy crap. Wow.
Yeah, it was not hovering. But it was moving, but not fast enough to be an airplane, and it wasn't hovering like a helicopter might. It wasn't anything like that. It was beautiful. It was a V. Oh, then I went looking, and I found something on the internet called the Hudson Valley Boomerang.
Mm-hmm.
All I looked at was the pictures and read what I could there. I think I put it on my tweet there because I've learned how to do the tweet thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it could have been. And then I saw the picture that you posted just now. Now, It could have been that, but with different coloured lighting. I don't know. Maybe they use a different colour lighting over different countries or areas. I don't know. But it could have been the Hudson boomerang, which was, I don't know enough about it because I've been overwhelmed listening to all these interviews.
I know, that's the best part. That's the best part.
I did have a mental health plan for a little while because I was moving house. I had to be homeless for a while. I was sending money to my daughters, trying to keep the family all together while I was falling apart for a while. But everything's good now since December.
Now, you said
I had the sightings. Yes.
Morella, you said that it went to the moon. So are you saying that...
All I know... Okay, so I took a side-eye as where I live and of the moon rising one night, and it was sending a flash across, and there was a flash of... anyway, the photo of the side-eye. Okay, there was a flash with lights, and the moon was rising over the ocean, and I took it. So I came home, and I was looking for a way to just do a quick illustration of what I saw in this what I saw. So I found this little app called Funky some little things, sticky things. I don't know what they are. But it worked for me, and I put this little diagram together as you might if you were a mathematician putting a graph together. So I put it together, trying to illustrate the distance that it was in the sky and the distance of, the photo of the moon is there rising. So you've got that size differentiation, and then me trying to say this is how far up in relation to the ground, in relation to where I'm taking the photo from in the moon.
So what'd you find out?
Sorry?
What did you find out?
What did I find out was, look, I'm probably never going to see something like that again in my whole life. But what it had an effect on me that has just led me to discover all the paperwork I needed, all the couple of people, professional people I needed to talk to, needed and submit everything, and I was able to get a beautiful federal housing, and safe, and the girls are safe. Everything's going so well. I don't know. I'm excited.
I know you want to see it again too. So do you go out there every night and look up and go, "Come on"?
Every single goddamn night. Oh my God!
I can't blame you. I can't blame you.
I am awake since 2:30 this morning.
Yeah.
You probably wonder why I might, tweet something like that. It's because, oh my God, not today, something else. Like Zucker crazy or whatever. He's still, in my opinion, he's still back when he started. Like, he didn't evolve. He stayed a kid, man. He hasn't been out. He doesn't know anything. What's going on?
Right.
He needs some psychological help, like some exposure therapy or something. I don't know.
Right.
I feel sorry for him.
Well, see, the thing...
Like, he's done all the right stuff, and now he's grown up.
Yeah, you're dropping... Marilla, you got to talk into the phone. Okay, don't forget that. Remember, you're on the radio.
No, I have this problem. It does cut in and out. I have all the things that you have been experiencing through the whatever ether.
Uh-huh.
Things have going on here too. It's just the way it is.
Well, see, and this is what is really cool, because once you see something like that, you don't need to hear from anybody else, that are going to try to tell you that it was your imagination. You didn't really see it. It was an airplane. It was a helicopter. It was this. It was that. You don't need to. That's it. You're done. You finally have seen it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and the two sightings, I say lifetime experiences, only because I was 6 and I saw the beams at my room at the window. In the backyard, And then in 2010, I had a sighting in Germany, which got me all wired up today because you're talking to Anthony. That's all. I don't know anything. All I can say is, look, I'm excited. I'm inspired. So are the people around me, especially my own family. It's amazing.
And you have the fade or nots, and you have fade to black, right?
Every day, and I have you to talk to. I don't talk because of my bit of history, but I don't talk. I'm a painter, so I'm a recluse. I'm sorry for that.
I love it. I love it.
I find it really hard to call in and talk.
Well, thank you. That's an amazing, amazing sighting. Just an amazing sighting.
Mm-hmm.
And I know if I would have had the sighting, Morella, I'd be out there every single night, out there looking and going.
Good feeling.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Okay, and we'll see you tomorrow night right here on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Morella. What an incredible sighting. And, for it to be 6 minutes long, 6 minutes, and it's a black triangle, but it had orange lights that were lighting up from the underneath, and she could see the shape of it. But 6 minutes in the sky. That's incredible. And when she said when she said that her camera is in the house, but she can't pull herself away from the sighting to go get the camera. And I know exactly what she is saying. I would have absolutely done the same thing. The one thing that, and I hear other people ask these same questions, and it's a natural thing. But I've only managed to take one picture in my life, and that was on film. Every time I've ever had a sighting, and I've had a lot of them, I've never taken out my cell phone, and it's in my hand, and I've never taken a picture, and I've had plenty of opportunities to, and I'd rather just stand there and enjoy the moment. And I'm being serious. It's very easy these days. I guess, you know what, when we go up to ECETI, I should do what James Gilliland does. He just sits there. He's got a video camera running all night long, and it's just sitting there. He's got it on a tripod, and he can pick it up and he can point it, and so many others do as well. And they've also got it set up for night vision, and they can do that. But I think I've got video cameras, not cell phone. I've got cell phones, but I actually have video cameras that I don't use. Should take those up to ECETI, get them on tripods, and just turn them on. I've got I don't know how many gigabytes the chips are for the cards, but I've got big ones, and just run those babies and just turn them on and keep them going. I think that's what we're going to do next. All right, I've got to get out of here. Tomorrow night, Daniel P. Sheehan is here. I just saw, I hope, somebody just sent me an email saying, no, really? Let me check this really quick. We're at the end of the show. I want to see if this is kicking off here. Okay, so nothing there. Okay, so I'll save this for tomorrow night. Somebody just sent me an email. Okay, I don't see anything, so I'm not going to say anything now. Let's get through the night. Tomorrow night, Daniel P. Sheehan is here. It's going to be a very dynamic conversation that we always do when he is on with us. You're not going to want to miss that show. Thursday night is Fader Night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live. Friday night, Saturday night, I am not over on Coast to Coast AM. We actually have a full weekend off. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. And again, you can go over to Anthony's websites, which are UFOhighway.com and, of course, GHOSTHUNTERAPPS.com. All his links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Faded Black's executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster Drew the Geek. Music Doug Aldrich. Intro Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Faded Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA The Planet. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2018 by Faded Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Faded Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Simple. Until tomorrow night, everybody be safe. Go Backley Tappy.